Hi guys, welcome to week 2, the week we are officially starting on our RTI. I know you're all very excited about that. But this week is a fairly easy week in terms of RTI. We're just reviewing punctuation. So I am going to go through this Google Slides presentation with you. You'll also be able to go through it on your own time. It's also attached in the material. This is just a little explanation for everything, and then we'll do some practice at the end. You will have a practice assignment where you add in the correct punctuation, and then there will be a quiz at the end of the week as well in Google Forms. So let's go ahead and get started. I will get my face out of the way, and let's see what we have here. Okay, end marks. Of course, we have periods, question marks, exclamation marks. You all know how to use these. I just feel like I have to remind you. Exclamation points whenever you are excited about something or angry about something. Question marks for questions. Periods for everything else. Okay, commas, one of my favorite pieces of punctuation. There are lots and lots of different ways to use commas. And the first is commas in a list. So I love to eat potatoes, fish, and cereal. I'm going to see if I can get my little, I guess my tool doesn't want to work. Well, that's okay too. So you need this little comma here, which is called the Oxford comma. It's a very fancy name, the Oxford comma. But that's that red comma right there. That comes before the and. So let's look at why this is important. With the Oxford comma, we invited the rhinoceri, comma, Washington, comma, and Lincoln. These are all separated because you used those commas correctly. Without the Oxford comma, we invited the rhinoceri, comma, Washington, and Lincoln. So now you have created our former presidents as rhinoceri, which is not what we were going for. So without the Oxford comma, we are sometimes confused as to what you're actually talking about. Okay. There we go. Commas part 2. You can use commas with extra information. This means we could remove that information and the sentence would still work. So I picked up Sally, comma, my boa constrictor, comma, from the vet. We don't need to know that middle section. We can take it away and it's totally fine. It's just extra information. But don't forget you need that second comma. Otherwise, it's just an incorrect sentence. Okay, part 3. Commas to separate clauses. If the dependent clause, which cannot be a sentence by itself, it depends on something else. If that comes first, you need a comma to separate it from the independent clause, which can be alone. So in red, because I ate ice cream, that's not a complete sentence. So we need a comma, then my stomach hurts horribly. Even though I was late, dependent, not a complete sentence, comma, the party was still fun. Okay, part 4, introductory elements, like transition words. Basically, comma, I have a dairy allergy. However, comma, I eat cheese and ice cream all of the time anyway. Sorry to all of you who do have dairy allergies. That's not me. Luckily, I got to eat ice cream last night. Okay. Commas part 5. When you have 2 complete sentences joined with a conjunction, your fanboys, which are listed here at the bottom, you must add a comma before the conjunction. I like ice cream, comma, and I eat it. Meryl is my best friend, comma, but she's moving away. So sad. Okay, a quick reminder about run-ons and comma splices. A run-on is an error when 2 sentences are pushed together into one without proper punctuation. There's no punctuation. Just like this. I love going to school. It is my favorite place. That's two sentences, but they're not correctly separated. A comma splice is almost the same thing, except you connect them with a comma, which is also wrong. I love going to school. It is my favorite place, but we can't just use a comma there. There are 3 ways to correctly split 2 sentences. 1, use a period. 2, use a semicolon. 3, use a comma and conjunction. But never, ever, 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 ever just a comma. All right. So dashes and hyphens. Dashes are the long ones, and they are used like commas with extra information. This is the same as before. You can choose to use commas. You can choose to use dashes. So my mother, the beautician, has had the same job for 20 years. You could take out the beautician entirely, and the sentence still works. Hyphens, which are the short ones, create compound adjectives that act as one idea. For example, this is a state-of-the-art appliance. That is an adjective now. I live in an off-campus apartment, or my baby is now a 5-year-old. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, quotation marks. For direct quotations, we have 3 options here. Quote, use a comma inside the quote if the tag comes after, comma, quote, he said. So he said is the tag it's talking about here. He said is the tag. She said, comma, quote, if the tag comes first, use a comma before the quotes. And you can also have that tag in the middle. If the tag is in the middle, he said, you need commas in both places. That shows it is all together a complete sentence. We also have indirect quotations, which don't use quotation marks at all. For example, she told me what you said yesterday. Well, Mark said that you were crazy. You can also use quotations or italics to show sarcasm. That was a great show, or to show a word that you're defining. Defenestrate means to throw out of a window. It's a very good word for you. I like it a lot. Okay, semicolons. So semicolons, your little winky face, separate 2 complete sentences. For example, I love learning about semicolons. They are my favorite punctuation mark, and that is true. Reading is the greatest joy of my life. There is nothing I love more than books. Relatively true. They can also act as a super comma. So this is happening if you need to list items that are separated with a comma. Mostly it happens with locations, names, dates, and descriptions. So let's look here. While searching for a good place to get a unicorn burger, I traveled to Seattle, comma, Washington, semicolon, because we've already got commas there, Tokyo, comma, Japan, semicolon, and London, comma, England. That just makes it easier to read instead of Seattle, Washington, Tokyo, Japan, London, England. It would be very strange to read it in that way. We also have semicolons with transition words here. Words like however, therefore, thus, nonetheless, finally, consequently, etc. So in this situation, punctuation is very particular. There is a semicolon at the end of the sentence. Then there is the transition word not capitalized. And there's a comma after the transition word. I wanted to feed the dolphins, semicolon, however, comma, they were sleeping. Sally drinks a lot of water, semicolon. Therefore, comma, she is well hydrated. Da, 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 da. All right, colons are one of our easy ones. They just introduce a list. Simon brought me the following gifts. Colon, a llama, a horseshoe, and a teapot. He wanted to visit 3 cities, colon, Tokyo, Paris, and Berlin. Da, 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 da. Okay, apostrophes. We use apostrophe S to show a singular possession. That is Doug's hat. There's only one Doug. Mom's car is in the driveway. There's only one mom in this case. So we have that apostrophe S. You can use only an apostrophe or S apostrophe to show singular possession ending in S. So both of these are correct. I still have Travis's with just the apostrophe books, or Travis's apostrophe S books. Both are perfectly fine to use. You use only an apostrophe to show plural possession. So there are 3 cats. The cat's meows are incredibly loud. So this means all 3 cats and the meows belong to those cats. So the apostrophe goes after. Same thing here. The basketball players' jerseys are dirty. Multiple basketball players. So we need the S to show plural and then our apostrophe. If we only had one basketball player, it would be player apostrophe S. And this will just be for you to look through on your own. I'm not going to read it. Capitalization, we should all know that by now. Okay, so let's see if I can get this little... I don't know why my tools don't want to work here. That's a little bit of a bummer. Let's do this instead. So, my parents served us duck, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie. So, here we're looking for commas. So, of course, this is a list. Duck, comma, mashed potatoes, Oxford, comma, and pumpkin pie. We went to high school, Grayson County High School, in Litchfield, Kentucky. So we have 2 options here because Grayson County High School is extra information. So we could do comma, and that shows we can take Grayson County High School away. Or we can do dash and dash. Again, we can take it away. It is a well-prepared presentation. Here we need a hyphen. Whoops. Words like well-known, well-prepared, etc. always have a hyphen. All right, number 4 is for quotes. Whoopsie-daisy. We should get a milkshake from Sandy's, she said. The tag is at the end, so we know we need quotes at the beginning, and we need quotes after the comma here. Okay, number 5. There are 3 assignments today: the quiz, the paper, and the discussion. We have a list, so we have a colon to precede that list. All right, and our very last one, let's get this little blue line out of the way. If it's going to work for me. There we go. The calendars were ready to go. However, they were off by 1 day. So we see that transition word here. It already has the comma after it. So we need our little semicolon there as well. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Please let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, now you can do the practice assignment, and then you'll be able to do the quiz after that. All right, guys, have a lovely, lovely day, and I'll be in touch soon. Thank you.